Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie. I read a lot of books, I've binge watched TV series, and I've been binge watching American Horror Story for quite a while now. So the last one you would have seen from this series is Red Tide, and this one is Death Valley, and it's from season 10 double feature. So the first half of the series was Red Tide, and then the second half was Death Valley. I say half. This half was only 4 episodes, so I did it all in one day. I watched it all yesterday, and I'll admit, at first I just thought, is it just that aliens just aren't my thing? Because when aliens were introduced into season 2, it really annoyed me, and I didn't know why, and I felt like it was like an unnecessary part of Asylum. But with this one, because it's very obviously sci-fi themed, it's aliens from the get-go. You've got Sarah Paulson, Lily Rabe, Leslie Grossman, Angelica Ross, Neil McDonough, Kaya Gerber, Nico Greetham, Isaac Cole-Powell, Rachel Hilson and Rebecca Dayan, with recurring Cody Fern, Craig Sheffer, Christopher Stanley, Mike Vogel, Alicia Soper, and then guest is Len Cordova, John Sanders, Bryce Johnson, Carl Mackinnon, Jeff Heapy and Vincent Foster. So we start off in black and white in 1954 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And you see a woman and her son playing. The woman's inside the house, the son's outside playing, and what looks like a tornado is hitting. Turns out it's aliens and her son is abducted and she is taken over by aliens as well. It was a very quick way to say it. And basically you can tell when people have been inhabited by the aliens, because basically their eyes kind of roll into the back of the head and all you can see is the whites of their eyes, and they start levitating, which happens to several people throughout the season. Then you see President Eisenhower leaving a golf game when he's told that something's happened and that they need to go with him, and so he goes out to the desert with the military and they discover an aircraft that has been shot down, and it looks very alien UFO type thing. It feels weird to say that, because I always say an UFO is an unidentified flying object, and anything in the sky can be an unidentified flying object until you identify it. Sorry, my eye is leaking. It does this every so often. But yeah, then they discover a woman with marks on her back, played by Lily Rabe. And they go over and say, are you okay? What's happened? Who are you? And she goes, my name is Amelia Earhart. In 4 episodes, they managed to get in every conspiracy about aliens, about Marilyn Monroe, about Amelia Earhart, about the moon landing. Any conspiracy you can think of, kind of centred around like the 50s and 60s, you've got it in here. In 4 episodes. It's quite incredible. But yes, so you've got kind of the black and white bits in the 50s, and then it jumps to the present day where you meet 4 teenagers. You've got Kendall, Cal, Troy and Jamie. But yeah, you've got 4 teenagers in the present. You've got 2 girls, 2 guys. The 2 guys are in a relationship, and on a night out they are abducted by aliens, and then they all find out that they're pregnant, including the men. And this is where I thought, what is the plan that the aliens have got in mind here? And also, if they are hell-bent on, like, procreating, why have they chosen men to impregnate? There was a point where I was just thinking, oh, is this kind of going to introduce a bit of a trans storyline? We find out that the guys actually have uteruses? But no. No, it didn't go there. It's just a case of, you know, aliens deciding that anybody can be a host, which was interesting.
Editing Debbie coming in here, just to say, because I realised I didn't mention this, but because the guys are pregnant, it does add to a bit of comedy where the guys are there going, how is this baby going to come out of me? Because obviously they don't have uteruses, they don't have vaginas, so there is an element of comedy to that storyline in a way where the men are genuinely confused and kind of scared about what's going to happen when they actually give birth. Just want to say that because I think that it is relevant to the storyline, and in a way gives a bit of an explanation as to why anybody can be a host, because it adds to the slight comedy and fear that feeds into all of that.
But yeah, you then find out that the aliens are trying to procreate. They're trying to find like the perfect specimen, and you realise that through the story from the 50s and present day, that Eisenhower makes a deal with the aliens to basically allow them to abduct a certain amount of humans every year to impregnate them and just do what they want with them. It's kind of like a secret alien treaty kind of thing. And as it goes through like prominent moments in history, because in episode 2, the black and white bits are in 63, when John F. Kennedy is president, and he finds out from Eisenhower about this secret alien treaty and the fact that they have got this deal with the aliens where they can abduct people. It's just so ridiculous. I think it's the fact that it really is kind of focusing on the conspiracy theories around alien abduction and how the American politicians were involved in it, which I think is just hilarious that they do that, really. Seeing the relationship between the President Eisenhower and his wife and how she kind of turns on him a bit, and then you find out that actually his wife has been inhabited by an alien as well. It just... You see Marilyn Monroe in there. It took me a second to realise that's who she was portraying. It was like, oh wait, no, that's supposed to be Marilyn, isn't it? And actually the actress playing Marilyn was absolutely incredible, actually. She really had Marilyn down there. Alicia Soper played Marilyn Monroe, and she did embody that. The whole thing about what happened to Marilyn Monroe, because I know there'll be conspiracy theories about how she died for such a long time, and I've seen the conspiracies about how she might have known something she wasn't supposed to, because there's a lot of people out there who don't believe that she overdosed herself. They don't think that she was trying to kill herself, and they think that because of her relationship with Kennedy, that maybe she was killed by some higher-ups. Obviously I'm not saying that that happened or it didn't happen, I'm just saying there is a conspiracy out there about that, and it's amazing how in 4 episodes they managed to get so many conspiracies into 4 episodes. The whole thing about the moon landing as well, because when the kids are abducted by aliens and find out they're pregnant, they go to a doctor's office to kind of confirm after peeing on the stick, and the doctor who scans them, she only scans one of the girls, and she sees something on the monitor that she's just like, what the hell is that? And so she tries to get a second opinion by calling up obviously the main hospital, and then black cars arrive with people in black. It's like the Men in Black basically come in and say, so you haven't spoken to anybody about what you've seen yet? And she's just like, no. They're like, okay. They kill her dead, and then they take the 4 kids into hiding. It's basically part of the abduction thing. Like, they know that that these kids have been abducted, they know that they've been impregnated, and then they take them off to a secret base where they can be observed by people and by the aliens to find out what is happening. And it's basically to observe the pregnancies because, as I said, the aliens want to reproduce, so they're trying to create like the perfect specimen. And you find out that when the babies aren't viable or they don't quite match what they want, they will kill the baby and they will kill the host. But yeah, I think it is in the 2nd episode where they stumble upon, or is it the 3rd? No, it'll be in the 3rd episode, because in the 2nd episode is when they are at the Upline clinic. So in the 3rd episode, the teenagers, they stumble upon the fake moon landing set. And it's all on this base where all the people who've been abducted by aliens are being observed by essentially military personnel, and the fact that people, the people are observing them as well as the aliens. It's like they're trying to have like this. It's kind of like when you see countries kind of like being like allies to each other, even though they know that somebody's doing something bad. That's what it is like in this case. They know the aliens are doing something horrible and selfish, but they think we want to be allies with these aliens, so we're going to give them something that they want. In this case, it's abducting their own people, and you just have, it's kind of like selling your soul to the devil kind of thing, because, you can think that you're in control, but you still sold your soul to the devil. It's not looking good for you either way. You can feel like you're in control, but once you've signed your soul over to the devil, he's in complete control. Any control that you think you have, you don't. And in this case, the politicians find at the end that the aliens only ever had one thing in mind, and making that deal with them was the worst thing they ever could have done. Because, like the first half of the season, there isn't a wrapped up happy ending all tied up with a bow. But you do find out that the people who have been abducted, once they've been impregnated, they stay the same age. When the teenagers end up on, like, this base, they meet Calico, played by Leslie Grossman, and she says that she was first abducted in the 60s. I think it's, yeah, because she's very got 60s fashion and style. And she says that since that first abduction, she has not aged at all. So you're trying to work out there what the end game is there on having them stay that age, and then you realise it's because they are constantly impregnating them, and it sounds so ridiculous. And I've seen that a lot of people didn't like this season. I think they probably preferred the first half to Death Valley. It might be because of how short it is, having it just in 4 episodes, as I said, because they're only like 45-50 minutes long without the adverts when you're watching it on like Netflix, or in my case I watched it on Disney Plus. It just felt very quick, and to be honest, I think that if they had tried to put in more episodes, it would have just dragged. So I think having 4 episodes for this storyline was probably the best, really, because it just meant they could just concentrate on that story. There wasn't any kind of... It didn't feel like it was dragging, because sometimes when you've got a whole like 10-13 episodes, then they have like one random episode just to kind of freak everything out. I think it's also because even though it's aliens, it doesn't feel as horror based as the other ones. I just feel like it was very to the point because it only been 4 episodes. It did have quite a gripping storyline in regards to the aliens. I admit I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan, but it did hold my attention. And, you know, it did have its funny moments, and the goriest you got, really, was when they killed the babies and when they killed the hosts once they'd given birth. So it was mainly like slitting necks, wringing necks, and heads exploding. That was kind of the worst of it, really. So, you know, when you got the first half of the season where I was almost gagging and throwing up at the sight of one of the characters drinking blood, this seemed very tame in comparison. Yeah. I feel like I've said enough about 4 episodes without giving it entirely away. But yeah, that's American Horror Story, double feature, Death Valley. Do give it a go. I think it's not the worst, despite what I've seen some articles say about it. But yeah, I definitely preferred the first half, but I don't think that Death Valley was the worst. And the fact that it was only 4 episodes meant that it could hold my attention. I could binge watch it very easily. How long did I do that in? About 15 minutes. Well, hey, that was a quick one for me. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I think after this there'll probably be a bit of a gap on American Horror Story stuff, because I don't even think that the next season's been announced properly yet. But I am hoping to start doing one of these type of videos for The Handmaid's Tale, which I've been binge watching again. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. I need to go get changed and get ready for work.